We know Donald Trump is standing up for the American worker, America's factories, and he's making moves to secure the best trade deals. It's not easy. But today he met with a Canadian Prime Minister.
We'll spend some time and we'll make some deals and we'll do some things that are good for both of our countries. We can renegotiate it, and that would be good, or we could just do different deals. We're allowed to do different deals if we want. We might make deals that are better for the individual countries. I don't care. I want to make whatever the best deal is for this country, and also very much with Canada in mind.
USMCA has to be kind of re-up next year. That's what he's referencing there. So as Trump is working to try to bring more money, more jobs into the United States, China is trying to entice the administration by dangling the prospect, we're hearing, of a massive investment package to stop the pain that they're feeling from Trump's tariffs and trade restrictions. Bloomberg reporting that the Chinese floated a figure of $1 trillion earlier this year. But come on. If they're willing to give us $1 trillion to keep Taiwan, what do you think Taiwan's really worth? Well, Trump just can't take this bait. He's too smart for that. He won't. China has a long history of going back on their word. We can't allow ourselves to ever trust them in this type of situation. The truth is, China needs us a lot more than we need them. Their factory output has slowed since we've stopped allowing them to take advantage of us. And as for their investment, we don't really need it. Trump is already investing hundreds of millions for the U.S. to manufacture and find our own rare earth minerals, and it is happening. So it's not worth risking our national security over any of this. Here to discuss, Michael Pillsbury, Heritage Foundation Senior Advisor and a Fox News contributor. Michael, you know, I hear about the magnets, I hear about the rare earths, but what is going on with this $1 trillion dangle on the part of China?
Well, Laura, it's great you're covering the issue in such detail. This is not the end of the talks, obviously. Both sides have been leaking what's going on. These are top secret negotiations. The Chinese have made some concessions. They really got scared when the tariff rate hit 150%. Now Jameson Greer is talking about 50% may be the outcome. So there's the new pressure from China demanding that President Trump say, I'm against independence of Taiwan, not just being unconcerned or say it's up to you guys to have peace talks, but to actually condemn what Taiwan's been doing. I don't think President Trump will do that, but it shows the level of desperation the Chinese have. But they're just bringing up everything, Laura. The rare earth magnets, not buying soybeans, now this weird offer. I don't know if Bloomberg's got it right. As I say, the two sides are leaking a little bit about the position.
Yeah. Pretty detailed, right?
It sounded true to me.
It sounded 100% true to me, actually. And Michael, I should say the chair of the Select Committee on China put out a statement warning that China is a foreign adversary that routinely cheats on its deals with America, and it failed to fulfill its agreements with President Trump in the first term. China's true desire is to take advantage of our country's industry and our knowledge, stealing innovation and threatening jobs. China has weaponized its own market and companies against us for decades. We can't allow those companies to have more access to our economy. Michael, it seems to me that the tariffs in place right now are doing a great job of rebalancing our relationship with China. Why not just leave the tariffs and forget the deal?
Because they're too low. The tariffs can provide a lot more income to us.
I'm always for higher tariffs, by the way. I love tariffs.
They can punish. Don't forget the original Lighthizer theory that I agree with. Tariffs are to punish China for bad behavior in the past. They're kind of a compensation for all they've stolen from us over the last 50 years or more. That's the reason the tariffs need to go higher. I think President Trump's going to do that. I don't want to leak anything today, but I have a high confidence in President Trump. The problem he faces, though, is Biden did not enforce the agreement. So Biden caused huge damage to U.S.-China trade relations, and Trump has to make up for that somehow.
If we have to pay the farmers for the soybeans that are piling up, I'd rather do that any day of the week than to continue the charade with the China trade. And we should be investing everything we can on the rare earths and the magnet production in the United States. we can't have a Damocles sword hanging over our heads with China, who's our #1 adversary in the world. Maybe I'm too simplistic here. Maybe I'm seeing this the wrong way. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, though.
No, actually, you're not wrong. The problem is there are some voices inside the administration who want to take a much softer approach to China. Peter Navarro named a lot of names in one of his books. These really knockdown, drag-out fights in the Oval Office in front of the president. I was present myself for some of them. The softer make-a-deal appeasement voices are still around. That's what I'm most concerned about. So, Laura, I beg you to keep covering this story. Your coverage is just fantastic. But if the coverage goes away, and this is all done in the quiet of the night, I'm not happy with the agreement we're going to have. Neither will you be. So we got to keep covering the issue.
He's perhaps hearing from just one side a lot of this. Pay for the soybeans. We could pay for our own soybeans. We could do our own rare earths, right. And China can go walk off a bridge for all I care. All right, Michael, thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.